Hello everybody. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you are watching this back, if you're watching it live, hello, and welcome back to you too. It feels like it's been a little bit of a while. I feel like I'm coming into this almost like anew, and it's only been like 9 days since my last stream. Hello. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you are keeping safe. Hope everything is going good for you. Tonight, tonight-ish, yeah, it's 6, it's tonight, we're going to be talking about 4 more Eurovision 2021 songs, the final 4 that I haven't covered yet on this channel. So we're going to be talking about Austria, Georgia, North Macedonia and Poland. There kind of is a reason I've left those to the end, because I don't have a huge amount to say about each of them. So we're going to try and maybe keep this short for each of them and just rattle off through, see how we're getting on. Do let me know if you're watching in the live chat what your thoughts are on all of them. Let me know over in the comments section. You can let me know over there, down below if you're watching this back. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. There isn't, like, it feels like there hasn't been a huge amount of new Eurovision news in the last week or so. We're starting to hear like a little bit more about, you know, like people's spokespersons, the UK have announced that, you know, who's doing the commentary, same as usual really, with I think Chelsea Grimes, who, you never know, maybe that's something building up for 2022. She is a singer, she does quite a lot. She wrote somebody's song a couple of years ago, I want to say, or was in a national final. She's been involved, so that's interesting. But yeah, it feels like, you know, we're starting to just keeping on building up, getting the momentum, heading into Rotterdam. Confirmation we've had, you know, spectators will be there. Yeah, lots of little things. Questions about whether Montaigne will actually be able to go. I think she will. If they're letting sports people go from Australia and come back and not having any quarantine, or like they are quarantining but not allowing them back in, you would let Montaigne go, surely. It's Eurovision, lots of people watch it. Anyway, let's have a look where we're at. Okay, so hopefully audio and everything is all okay. Do let me know if there are any issues. And let us move on. Let's start off with some of these songs, eh? So let's start with Austria. So it's Vincent Bueno, once again. He was their representative last year, and now he is back with another Amen. Second Amen of the year. Let's see whether or not, like in 2015 when we had the Warrior off, will only one of them actually make it through. We will find out whether it will be Slovenia or Austria. I might suggest that neither of them will make it, but we'll see. Because actually, look, I wasn't a huge fan of Vincent's song last year. It was catchy enough for what it was. But I feel like Amen really shows off his vocal. Very nice to hear that. There's a lot of potential there for a jury vote, maybe. And, you know, where we don't have a huge amount of male artists in the contest this year, granted, you know, I feel like semi-final 2 has more of them. You know, there's something very nice about it. It is soaring. It gets to those right places. I just feel like it takes so long to really get anywhere and for me to really feel anything. Like, you're almost 2 minutes in before I really start to get what they're going for. And I think, you know, Austria, again, not a country that traditionally has a lot of support just generally out there. You know, Austria doesn't have, you know, culturally friendly voting, let's say. So I think, you know, Austria is something where you really have to achieve a lot and find a niche. You know, Zoe had something really special going for her in 2016. Obviously, Conchita 2014. But then, you know, I feel like Panda Limits was really sweet. It was really nice, very enjoyable. And actually, I thought that the staging really elevated it more. And, you know, vocally, very, very confident. She really did well in the jury, especially, I felt like, with the jury final. And then it just did not come across at all in the voting. And again, I feel like, you know, Vincent can be really good with his vocal and it can be very well staged, but it needs something to elevate it that a little bit more. And obviously, you know, Cesar Sampson, Nobody But You. Is that the name of the song? Austria 2018, you know that I'm talking about. Cesar. That the song was very much on trend. I think everything sort of very nicely worked out for them there. I just think that there's the issue, I think, for, I mean, a lot of the songs in semi-final 2, and especially the male vocalist, is that Switzerland is there, and Switzerland I would say unequivocally has more going for it in a Eurovision context. And you already can start to see where there's potential there. With Austria and some of these other ones, I don't really see that. There's no special spark right now. What might come across is if Vincent blows everybody away vocally, which he very well could do. There is reason why they've picked him, and they've given that confidence, I would say, that there is potential for that to keep on growing. So, Amen, whilst I'm not sold on it right now, I can see where it might start to grow. I just think that they really need to do something very, very special, and really just nail it, because there isn't anything gripping about it. And that is, like I said earlier, like there isn't a huge amount to talk about with some of these, because Amen is a very solid male vocal kind of gospel-y ballad kind of thing going for it. It's not very gospel, but the name Amen kind of feeds into that idea. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with Austria. And almost in the exact same vein, talking about Georgia, Tornike Kipriani with You, again, very good vocal, very solid for the style that it's going for. And I would say at least with You, it's doing something that you really don't see a lot. That's almost sort of like soft rock-ish, kind of. I don't really know what... I don't know really how to describe You, because when it starts off, to me, it sounds a lot like... almost like it wants to go in like a Joanna Newsom, Regina Spektor kind of way. Something very charming and almost like has a bit of a quirk, but it's so stripped back that you're almost like unsure of where it's going. And when it finally does go somewhere, and the backing vocal comes in, it almost feels a bit at odds at what I think where it's going earlier on in the song. I think that Tornike obviously is a really great vocalist. You can see in all of his, he's won X Factor, he's won Georgian Idol, he's won all these like contests in Georgia. Most of his style, I would say, is very much in that rock element though. And Take Me As I Am, I didn't like last year. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really like You either. But at least, like, Take Me As I Am, it felt like that was something that I could imagine him wanting to release and being in his wheelhouse. I appreciate that he's sort of moved out of that, at least in parts of You, but I don't think that it comes across as, like, a full song. As a full, like, fully rounded, particularly for Eurovision, competitive entry. And it's, we always say, Georgia go, okay, 1 year we'll go on for Eurovision, 1 year we'll do something for us. And this kind of feels like it's in like a middle no man's land where it doesn't fit anything. And I just don't really understand the logic behind entering this for Eurovision, other than let's try and do something very kind of just like getting that charm, getting that sweetness. But it doesn't hit the same notes as an Amar Pelosh did that. I think that might be the inspiration that they're going for. The more that I think about it, they were thinking, let's try and do Portugal 2017, but our own version of it. But it doesn't hit that. It's just a bit too... It feels almost too simple at the beginning. And it doesn't just have that, like, tenderness and that special quality that Salvador was able to bring. Now, again, live, there's a potential that this could stand out by being so... I think it's on immediately after Serbia. I think that's what we talked about with the semi-final 2 reaction. So, in amongst a sea of noise in that first half of semi-final 2, Georgia immediately, like, gear shift changing in. After all that, female up-tempo pop with, like, Serbia, Moldova, San Marino, all that heavy loaded earlier on, it could really make it work for itself because it can stand out on its own. It has a bit of a niche. There isn't anything really like it in the competition, perhaps for good reason, is what I'm thinking, though. So, again, I feel like Austria and Georgia kind of just like fulfill very much the same kind of, I don't want to say like second best behind Switzerland gap almost in the market for semi-final 2 in terms of what they're going for. Obviously, some of the other acts, Iceland, somebody like that, Daddy isn't going for that market as well. Poland aren't going for that market. But I just feel like that they're missing that extra something. So it's quite easy to group them together. Maybe it'll come across live. Maybe I will be proved incredibly wrong and Georgia somehow make top 10. But I feel like there's enough apprehension and enough uncertainty out there, especially with Eurovision fans, that it's hard to tell what's happening here. I don't feel like this was made for Eurovision, Georgia. I feel like this was made as sort of let's just take a risk almost, but for something different. I don't understand where it factors in right now. And that isn't to say that, it is not to say that every country has to send a song that is designed for Eurovision. I really don't like songs where it feels like they have been made exactly for Eurovision. Something like Only Teardrops could only have won Eurovision. It could only have really existed in Eurovision. Whereas you get something like Arcade, and that's the kind of made for Eurovision, but in the right way that you want. It has been constructed with that kind of right soaring elements, and it ticks some of the right boxes, but also it can stand alone by itself as a legitimate song, which Arcade has done. Euphoria did that really well. Even Toy and Fuego and a lot of these other songs that have, kind of stood the test of time, and you see often at the top of like the top 250 and things like that. They were made for Eurovision, but in a broader sense, in a broader way. Whereas, you get what I'm trying to say, hopefully. So I'm not, I see that criticism where people say you can't just say every song should be written for Eurovision and that's the only way to do well. Absolutely not. But you need to find common elements to be successful at Eurovision, I think is what you would say. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts very quickly on Austria and Georgia. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments over in the live chat. We're going to be talking about Poland and North Macedonia next. So stick around if you are waiting for those. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on those as well over in the chat, and we can start getting ready for that. Let's have a look over. People saying lots of hellos. Thank you very much. Hello to everybody. Slightly ESC Strootwaffle, Jill, Natasha. Hello to everybody. People saying that they prefer Slovenia over. Stephanie says I prefer Slovenia over this. I'm Austria any day of the week. Strootwaffle says I'm already certain Slovenia is not going to qualify. Vincent has a chance considering he has strong vocals and charisma. That is very true. He is very charismatic. You can tell. I think camera-wise, he'll get some of those things right, which I think is where, some people are saying, does Jean's Tears necessarily have that camera awareness, maybe? I think he does, probably. I think he's done talent shows before, and obviously, people are basing that off that one performance again that we saw in Spain. But, Vincent knows how to work an audience, limited as it may be, but also the camera. So that might work in his favour. People saying, I don't think Georgia is ever going to grow on me. Nursery rhyme melody, simplistic lyrics. His song last year wasn't actually as bad. But Take Me As I Am was more authentically him. Yeah, exactly. As Jill says. I think that felt like something that you could imagine Tornike releasing in his own way. I don't think it was as rock almost as I think he would want to go, but maybe I'm just, again, shoehorning in based on like performances I saw of him in talent shows and things like that. So that might be it. But I just feel like, everybody's allowed like your kind of like, slow down song on your album, but it feels like the slow down song on the album. It doesn't feel like it's anything more than that right now. Georgia's song it's just not for Eurovision. This chat is about the weakest entries. Although my mother did like Poland's song when I played for a recap. That's interesting that you say that, Cameron, because there is something more that I will say almost on that level actually about Poland. Keep letting me know what your thoughts are all of the songs that we're talking about tonight, Austria, Georgia, Poland, North Macedonia. Let me know over in the live chat. Let me know down in the comments if you are watching this back. Okay, so actually, I might as well, like, whilst we're on that note, let's talk about Poland. So it's Rafal with The Ride. Now, I know not a lot, from what I gathered, the initial reaction was obviously a lot of people wanted Alicia Zemplinska, I think is how you said her surname. I think that was Alicia. From 2020 with Empires, that was her song. A lot of people wanted her back, as they were wont to do, and obviously quite a lot of other artists returned. But Poland decided, nope, internal selection, we're going to send Rafal. And what I've seen is he's popular with the broadcaster and the government and all these kind of things. I don't know a lot about Polish politics other than some of the things which are obviously quite upsetting, particularly around LGBT rights. So, that's obviously a whole other kettle of fish. And Rafal, ultimately, I mean, I know he was in the national final in 2017. I think his song then wasn't particularly good. What I will say, all that caveated, and I don't really have any opinions on him as an artist. I kind of like The Ride a little bit. It's not one that I keep go back and listen to, but when it's on, when I first heard it, and with the visuals and everything that they have going towards it, it kind of works for the audience and for what it's trying to serve, I would say. And I think particularly, as was mentioned in the live chat, in recap form, and especially in that, the all songs from 2021, all songs from 2021 video that the Eurovision channel has put up. I have some friends that watch that, and of the 3 songs that they picked out as really standing out in that recap, granted that they hadn't seen any of the entries before up to that point, Poland stood out to them. And again, it's the visual maybe, but also just the sound. Something about it does work in that format. Now, I think 20 seconds of it is almost enough, is kind of the issue. I don't think it goes anywhere. It doesn't really transform, and it doesn't push itself into it's not a contender. It's not going to suddenly storm the televote or anything like that. But I think a lot of people are sort of just ruling it out quite quickly based on that initial reaction. And I think, to an average audience who don't know the politics or anything like that, or the background, Poland could spring a surprise as a qualifier, I would say. Now, like I said, it's not one that I'm a particular fan of. I think there are better entries just overall. There are better composed songs. There are better composed, better performers. We don't know what it will be like live. I know a lot of people are saying it probably won't be that good. Obviously, backing vocals will probably help that, especially if they're recorded. So, yeah, you just have to... I think there's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind just judging it as it is right now. But I can see where this is going, and I can see a path to it qualifying, which I think maybe I didn't see, which it feels like not a lot of other people see. So I might be completely wrong here. But I think as a casual audience, if they're looking for something kind of with that vague 80s-ish thing going for it again, or just like a kind of campy pop song, which it is, campy dance Euro song, it fulfills that brief. It doesn't try to go any further than that. And that is the ultimate downfall of it, and why I don't think, it's not modern. It's not anything that I would expect to hear in the charts, but I think it gets what it was going for. And it does start to tick some of those Eurovision boxes. Again, would I expect to see this anywhere outside of Eurovision? Absolutely not. But, there's some of those right things, which I think, some of the ones we were talking about earlier maybe aren't getting. I think obviously there's, I suppose the natural competition for it is kind of Denmark. I think that's, in terms of what that is going for as well, there is enough of a crossover where one of them might make it, the other won't. I'm just double checking because I've been talking Yeah, no, I was going to say, I was thinking, hang on, have I got it completely wrong? And Poland isn't in semi-final too? No, of course it is. So yeah, obviously Denmark comes later, and Poland is on like the middle of the first half. So that might work out a little bit more in Denmark's favour. But Poland is in English, a bit more accessible. Polish diaspora, whether or not you believe how much of a factor that is something you might have to consider. But again, also, will they vote if they, the general discourse I see is that people don't really like Rafal and that whole situation. Who knows? There's a lot of factors that make it a bit different. And obviously Poland recently, 2018, 2019 failures to qualify. 2018 still kind of surprises me a little bit. And actually so did Tulia not qualifying towards the end. But, there's not been a lot of consistency out of Poland recently, unfortunately. So, again, whilst when they came back in 2014 and then they were just nailing it year after year, for a good 4 years, they always qualified. I feel like that ship might have sailed a little, and now it's a bit rockier as to whether or not Poland will or will not make it. So I wouldn't like to put money on this either way right now. I would be surprised almost if it didn't qualify. I think it will sneak in as a 9th or 10th. But I can also see this completely bombing out and not really doing very well at all. Don't know whether a jury will really go for this. I think it will rely more on a public vote. And again, that is where you would probably suspect that Denmark is going for that market. So, Denmark has a better vibe to it, but I think that Poland is maybe more generic Eurovision friendly. It's very generic. That is the main thing. But yeah, let's see. My inherent Polish blood that I always have to talk about when I talk about Poland kind of makes me think, let's support the country a little bit. But we will see. Let's have a look at some of the comments quickly over here. Songersmere, apparently his attitude sucks, borderline non-qualifier. People saying, yeah, really not. There's not a lot of love for Poland over in the chat, I would say. But, it's not... a lot of people saying last good entry was Flashlight, which was the last time that they qualified. And a lot of people not loving Light Me Up, but also then loving Light Me Up in the studio. So I think it is very divisive. There are people that seem to either really hate it, but there are some people who like it. And again, I suppose that's the thing. Is anybody going to really love Poland? Is anybody going to say, this is my number one? Like I was saying, my friends that watched the recap, it wasn't the one that jumped out as like their number one. And again, it's only that 20-25 seconds that you see of it. So I don't know. I don't know whether enough people will say this is the one that I'm going to vote for, and especially when you've got other things coming up after it which might corner that market in the running order, you start to question things a little bit. So hello to everybody that is joining. Hello to Sol, to Gillian. Jills, hi. Good to see you again. And I hope everybody is doing well. Okay. It has come to the final song that I will be... Well, not the final song I will be talking about, because I'm going to be talking about them all a lot more as, we talk about potential qualifiers and things like that. But, at least for this video, North Macedonia, Vasil, Here I Stand, HIS, His, whatever we're talking about. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy, I guess, around the music video. And just like a lot of general negativity around Vasil, which, it's very silly, I feel like. It feels like there's a lot of very silly petitions and complaints and discourse around a lot of the artists for no real reason, which is just like, it's not great. It's a song. Again, as I always say, it's a song contest. It's meant to be fun. Don't take it too seriously. Here I Stand, it feels more Vasil compared with You, which just felt his entry last year. It was probably my last place, or again like second to last. And if I'm brutally honest, I don't think Here I Stand is much higher than that right now for me this year. I just don't think. I feel like You really wasn't authentic to Vasil as an artist, and the music video especially. I feel like it wasn't allowing him to shine the way that I think we know he can. Vocally, I feel like he's being allowed to shine a lot more in Here I Stand, which is great. And, there will be people that might be, it might appeal to them for that reason. I just feel like there's so much more that they could do with him and that they could give him. And that, again, they've kind of... North Macedonia had that great run of really strong songs that were great pop songs that were really good, and they had no idea how to stage them. And then, Tamara came along and just, wiped the floor. Well, didn't wipe the floor with everybody in the jury, but, won the jury vote. And they kept the staging very stripped back and simple. And I feel like they might just be trying to replicate Proud again with Here I Stand. And I wouldn't be surprised if the staging again is very minimalistic. It is just very much all about Vasil, and it's Here I Stand, him by himself, let him have his moment. That's sort of what I imagine it might look like, which isn't the most interesting, and I don't think it's the most interesting song. It's very kind of like Disney hero song almost, but it's a bit, again, it's sort of a little paint by numbers in that way. I just feel like he is so much more than what he has given. And I think that the sum of the parts doesn't add up because the artist is doing all the work. And it just, there's something, it's not exciting, I think is the main thing. And, it's, again, you don't have to be a pop song or upbeat to be exciting, but you just need something else. And I just feel like Here I Stand, great, okay, you've got a great vocal, but it's not telling me anything extra. It's not conveying the feeling that it's trying to give me through the lyrics or through the performance or maybe just through the music video. It's not giving me that feeling. I'm not moved by it right now. And I feel like I need to be to get those goosebumps or to get that feeling, which you do get. Arcade did that. Tout l'univers gave me goosebumps when I listened to it. So it's just, I feel, I mean, mainly just through this entire process, I felt sorry for Vasil because, again, he's just getting hate, and I don't want it to sound like I'm hating. I'm not hating on him by any means. Great vocalist, really, really good, very friendly, really cares about the contest, and I just wish that there was something more for him. Maybe live, if it is so stripped back and there is something really special about it, that might help. But I kind of go back to the Panda Limits was lovely, and it was very touching, it was very heartfelt, and I thought that the staging was very nice, and it gave a moment, and I really liked that. And then, lo and behold, almost last place or last place in that semi-final. I don't think it was last place, so I think that was Ireland. But yeah, it's just one of those where it's like, oh, just why couldn't it have been more? It's a shame, and I just think that, again, artist much better than what he's being given to work with, unfortunately. And I don't see this qualifying, especially in semi-final 1, because there's so much competition out there. I mean, again, I can't remember exactly where he is in the running order. Let's just check. He's between Technicolor and Maps. Maybe it'll stand out a little bit more there, but I feel like as an anthemic, personal empowerment song, Maps kind of just steals entirely the thunder here. I feel like that just immediately also kills his chances, unfortunately. But other than Tix, there isn't. There's 4 male vocalists in this semi-final. There's 4 male vocalists, and he is the third of them. And then after that is Tix. Whether that helps him at all, I don't know. But I don't see this qualifying. I'm going to be brutally honest. I think this is not destined for greatness, unfortunately, to steal the pun. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. I hope for Vasil's sake that he can enjoy this process, and I really hope he does. And I kind of wish that he was just able to come back and to have something that just I feel reflects him better. But if he really does love this, if this is what he is into and what he wants to do, great, good for him. I just don't think it works for Eurovision, unfortunately. But what do I know? I'm one voice. Over to the chat, people saying, Miloš, North Macedonia is likely the only country that I'm 100% certain that is not qualifying. It is going to be a vocal moment. Not sure it'll get people where it needs to. Pyro Rain, maybe. That is very true. But yeah, a lot of people just kind of saying, you kind of just feel, I feel a bit sorry for him, because I just think that there is so much more that Vasil can do and could achieve at Eurovision. And I think there is a lot that he can give. Quick comments I'm saying about the BBC's Eurovision 2021 plans. It's like, that was at the start of the video. But yeah, Amanda Holden as the spokesperson is a choice, because I think that she's kind of said some things about Eurovision before where it wasn't very particularly friendly. I think from memory, I don't really understand that choice when you've got Rylan or something like that, who is going to be in London. They're not going to be in Rotterdam. So why not use them? Kind of a bit of an odd one to me. Or again, like a Mel Gidroich, I know she's not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't really see where Amanda Holden has come from all of a sudden. But then again, she is a singer now. Anyway, do keep letting me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I think we will wrap this up. Try and keep this one short. Trying to get that like 30-minute mark. We'll see whether or not that works. But keep letting me know what your thoughts are on all of the countries that we've talked about, all of the songs, any of the songs really, down below in the comments. Do like the video, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell, all the things that I tend to forget to ask people to do. Please do those, because it is very nice when you do that. Moving forward, I think the next videos will be semi-final qualifier predictions, because we're starting to get to that point. And obviously any news that comes through, anything like that we find out, I'm sure I will cover in the live streams. Probably try and do one at the weekend. I know the schedule has been a bit erratic lately, but it's just sort of like when I've had time with work and other things. Hopefully the next time you will see me, all this hair will have gone, because I have a haircut on Saturday and I have never looked forward to a haircut more in my life. And yeah, I think that is pretty much everything covered off. There are other videos coming. I've got two kind of in the pipeline, which are just more general, not live videos. So I am looking forward to. One is another 1956 one, and one is a general one about Eurovision national finalish dramas, or selection dramas, because we've had quite a few of those already this year. And I will wrap it up there, I think. So, as always, keep safe, look after yourselves, stay well with everything that's going on, look after yourself first and foremost. That's the most important. Remember, it's only a song contest. Don't take it too seriously. It's all a bit of fun. And I will see you all on the next live stream. Until then, have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.